Hi, everybody, and welcome to Moohead Radio. Yes, it's yet another week. It's Friday, and Rox is just a little late getting here. You're probably saying, what is it? Why does the screen look different? Well, I mean, for one thing, we're going to run and share a video here that I wanted to show you. It's a story that defies all possible explanation. And Rick May is still having difficulties connecting to StreamYard, which is going to create other problems in the future. We're going to test him out on Zoom at a later time to make sure we got to figure out about getting him back on the panel. This is the first program that's going to be simultaneously broadcast live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. So anybody who happens to stumble upon this on Twitch, hi, how you doing? I don't expect anybody to do that yet because I have done nothing to promote the program over there. But we do have the ability to send to 3 distinct destinations, and that's where I'm sending the program out. Hi to Amsterdam. The story that I'm referencing is a story about Hasbro toys. They are pulling a Trolls doll from their store shelves after a petition with over 150,000 signatures accused the toy maker of promoting child abuse. All right? The DreamWorks Trolls World Tour Giggle and Sing Poppy has a button on her stomach that when pressed will prompt the doll to sing and say phrases like, how about a hug? But many people are having a problem with a second button that's, well, I'll just let you see it for yourself. And this is not a joke. This is real. The thing that's bizarre about this is that this is real. So with that in mind, as we share our screen, believe it, it's true. If it comes up, if this thing got taken off, man, I'm going to be really ticked. Doggone it. Y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the video doesn't seem to want to run. It ran minutes before the program, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, it worked fine in the test. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand either, but I'm going to have to just, the thing just went away.
Hey, it's playing now.
Is it playing?
Yeah. When you closed out the big screen.
As you all know, stuff that's been going on in the world about the sex trafficking in kids and things that are thrown in our kids' faces to kind of groom them and make them kind of a little bit more oblivious to things that are really happening. So it was my daughter's birthday a couple days ago, and she turned 2, and she was given this gift. It's like a little Poppy doll. It's adorable. And here's the box. So she had a Poppy birthday, and so they gave her this. It's just from the new movie, The Trolls World Tour. On the box, it says Giggle and Sing Poppy. On the back, it says that if you push her tummy right here, sorry, it's glaring. If you push her tummy right here, she makes 10 phrases and sounds. And that's all it talks about, and it comes with a little comb. So, I mean, she does all that. You touch her tummy, and she makes little singing sounds, and she's super cute. Well, I was showing her to my husband, and I heard some other sounds that I had never heard before. And if you look down here, I figured a video was the best way. So I just touched her tummy, and she's going to sing for a minute. But down here is a button right here on her privates. And if you push those, she makes these sounds. Like a gasping sound. And I know some of you may not think this is a big deal, but especially since I've had kids, this is wrong. For one, this button, it says nothing about this button on the box. Nothing. It's just there. And it makes a gasping sound when you touch her privates. And to me, it's just like sexual sounds, and it's so disturbing.
All right. Now,
Am's actually had that one hit on the head.
I'll tell you honestly, just when you think you've seen everything that you could possibly see in the world, and Hasbro, for their part, is saying, you know,
I could just imagine what they would do with a G.I. Joe now.
God almighty. I mean, what attachments it might come with, literally come with. Hasbro spokeswoman Julie Duffy told CNN in a statement that the feature was designed to react when the doll was seated on a spindle, but we recognize the placement of the sensor may be perceived as inappropriate. So we're going to turn to our female expert, Rox. You just saw it. What do you think?
I'm extremely confused by that doll. I guess, I mean, if that really was a feature that Hasbro planned, why does the box not address that? Why have people, just unsuspectingly giving the doll to their husband? And why was her husband touching that doll in an inappropriate way is what my real question is.
You know what my real question is like, how would you even find a second button if you're looking there, you know what I mean? It's like, and yeah, there's no mention, two buttons, it's like, and this one she sings on, and this one, boy, she really sings. I mean, and it's a child, for God's sakes, and why would it make a wee noise? It's like, so it's fun when I touch you there, but not on your belly. I mean, I thought this was probably the most unbelievable thing that I've seen, and Hasbro is just kind of now trying to back out of it by taking it off the market. How could they have not caught this? That's what I want to know. But be that as it may, if you're looking at these toys, the only thing I can tell you is buy one, because it's going to become a collector's item, because it's being pulled off all shelves. It's probably completely off shelves by now anyway, as it should be. But there's some money to be made, probably, from a collector's perspective. And, what was really offensive to me, and, it's like referencing button 1 and button 2, the belly button, well, that makes sense, but the G spot, I find that really, really inappropriate.
Yeah, especially for a kid's toy.
I mean, yeah. No, they referenced the G spot in the the pamphlet that came with it. No, I'm kidding. They might as well have. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing.
And for anybody questioning whether or not corporate America is run by pedophiles, here's your answer.
Well, that's just it. With all the talk about, pedophile fantasy island and all with Epstein and all of that shit, my goodness, it makes you wonder what in the hell. And Hammer Time is sitting there with a very confused look on his face, like, what the fuck? And I don't know, man. I don't know. That would be like if Chatty Cathy, instead of a string, had a tampon. I mean, this is just totally, It's like,
I would never want to pull that string.
Now there was
neither do I.
Somebody did come out with a doll that urinated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rox, do you remember that one?
There was tons of those.
There's lots of those. I had
Betsy
one as a child. Yeah.
But
there was also
Rox? You showed that to me, a video of it. Like
I think it was Baby Alive or something.
Yeah.
She can drink, she can eat.
She can eat.
So yeah, I think
that's the one that used
Alive.
to eat their hair, right? It would be like, it was like Dan Aykroyd in the old SNL skits or whatever. Yeah, this thing's fine, It's you just got this little piece of paper here, and next thing you know, it's like.
It's like E. Buzz Miller. That's Dan Aykroyd's calendar from SNL.
Yeah, we're just gonna give kids a bag of broken glass for Halloween.
Yeah, bag of glass. What's wrong with that? bag of glass.
The Johnny Action space suit, and it's like, well, and the helmet is a plastic bag with a Band-Aid around.
That's your Johnny Switchblade.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but we had dangerous toys as kids. Remember those fucking pogo sticks? Wonder how many broken limbs followed with that toy.
No, my favorite, and I told Rox about this, was the slip and slide. It's like, why would people put them in their driveways? I mean, it's like, oh, wow, I'm sliding in. And all of a sudden, of course, the slip and slide ends and the asphalt begins. And, holy raspberry city, or strawberry, I guess is what they call them. Strawberries, like,
no. Is the raspberry,
that's
right?
a raspberry, you're right.
There you go.
And hi to Mogambi, who's watching via Twitch. I'm not going to do that every single time I say that. I think that's an unfortunate name, and it's going to be one of those things that we're going to contest in the open market because, it's a Tourette thing. And I don't think that's a good idea, to be naming an entire site.
And then we're going to have to do the Twitch and Bedrock.
Was that every time you say what, Moo?
Twitch TV is, we're broadcasting live. Oh, God, now it's catching. Cleveland Browns fans, you got something to worry about long before the if possible, maybe, if come maybe season. 3 of your guards have opted out, and that takes 4 guards now?
It's up to 4 now. 5 players total, 4 guards. They have 2 guards left on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, they have Batonio and
Wyatt Teller.
Wyatt Teller. How about Wright?
He's opted out. Everybody else
opted out too.
Must be the new one. But the thing I saw today said the only 2 guards left on the roster were All Pro Batonio and Wyatt Teller. Yeah. So.
But now the kid from Washington's still on the roster, right?
And they're going to bring in 800 people, but they all, we saw what happened when we didn't have a good line last year. Our smaller than the average Bear quarterback couldn't stand up straight because he kept getting knocked down.
Yeah, I can't believe that we've lost all but one of our guards. I mean, nothing quite like, again, we have a new blocking scheme and nobody there to learn it. Only like the Browns can. And let's see. Mogambi saying, I can hear you on Twitch. All right. So, at any rate. And Rick was sharing this great Stephen Wright joke with us. So, yeah, thanks. We appreciate that. What are the Browns going to do? There's nothing that they can do to install a new blocking scheme, so what they're going to have to do is what they've done in the past. And it is a huge problem. They have to take tackles and turn them into guards, or centers, or turn them into guards. So now, good old L. Ron Hubbard.
That's why I was asking about the kid from Washington, because he actually started off as a guard before being switched to center.
Yeah, well, there are not too many good, the guy, Drew Forbes, Colby Gossett, and Malcolm Pridgeon are among the 5 sitting out. Okay, now unless somebody just announced Batonio and Wyatt Teller, and who was less effective than Wyatt Earp last year. Those are our only 2 guards, Batonio and Wyatt Teller. And then there's Nick Harris, who is another possible candidate to play right guard. And Willie Wright was the other one, and I'm not sure he's even still with the team at this point. But
KB is talking about Chris Hubbard, better suited to play guard than tackle, which is probably true.
I call him L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, he could.
L. Ron of the Elves.
The guy has no foot movement whatsoever, and maybe he's better. He can't be worse than what he was defending. He did
play guard for the Steelers. when they
Oh,
had all
yeah.
their injury problems.
No, that's really reassuring. Yeah, and all we got in all of this is Teller, who came from the Bills, who was ineffective, really seriously ineffective last year. Um, Harris, who played his first 2 seasons at Washington before switching to center. Um,
That's
so
what I was saying.
yeah,
That
he played guard for 2 seasons, but God, when they
he also
move you
played
out of
guard at high. He also played the right guard in high school.
yeah, wonderful.
Well,
But I mean,
was he there when they went through what 3 quarterbacks with broken legs that year, where it was McCoy and
No,
I
no,
mean they
no, no,
kept
no.
having.
Washington University.
Oh,
University,
okay. I'm
which
sorry.
is not
Not,
exactly a bastion of great football, and they moved him away from the guard position to play center. So that isn't exactly inspiring either. Brown was a guard at SMU before switching to center his final 2 seasons. So we have a bunch of people who couldn't even play guard at the college level, let alone the pro level. Wright was signed as an undrafted free agent last year. He hasn't even played in a regular season game, and he was used primarily at center last year in the preseason. So, I mean, this is a difficult situation. What do you have that we could get? I mean, what is on the market right now? Former Saints Pro Bowl guard Larry Warford, who could never play the kind of athletic guard that Stefanski needs. All right, he's still a free agent, but he's announced that he's opted out of the 2020 season. Free agent Josh Klein started 12 games at right guard last year for the Vikings, but despite signing him to a 3-year, $15.5 million deal prior to last season, the Vikes released him in March. And he's been out there all this time, leading one to wonder if Stefanski determined he wasn't a good fit for this offense either, because if anybody would know somebody who had played in Minnesota, it would be Stefanski.
Yeah, that's what I was
or
thinking.
if there's an
exactly.
underlying injury issue or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm, then former Broncos guard Ronald Leary is still a free agent. He's 31 years old. The Broncos declined to pick up his option, saving them more than $8 million in 2020. But he's played just 19 games over the last 2 seasons and hasn't lasted a full season since 2013. But the good news is we're not going to have a full season. So, there's that to consider. I don't know what the Browns are going to do at this point, but these are the challenges of being a first-year coach and trying to implement a system and just literally having, I'm looking at who's opted out, and, not a single Pittsburgh Steeler has opted out. They all want to play with Ben, They want to play with his penis. That's why they want to play with Ben. Because, hey, what they're basically saying is, I'd rather risk my life than play with Mason Rudolph again. Okay? That's what they're, no, I'm honest to God. I told
Or
you
Duck Hodges.
nobody wanted, nobody wanted to play with that guy. And now that Big Pigpen is back.
Myles Garrett liked playing with that guy.
Yeah, ragdoll. But so and nothing really major for the Ravens or the Bengals. It's the Browns who are getting hammered in a place that they just can't afford on their offensive line. And this is such an important year for Baker Mayfield. And if the guard is what's necessary to have an athletic, movement-oriented guy, and Hubbard is just not that guy to be used in a zone scheme that Stefanski wants to use running the football. And our running game is horribly important to us. And, really... And Doggy Bones was saying there was a low hum, and I don't know what was that low hum. I'm not sure who that was emanating from, but it's gone now. That is a good slogan, Rick. Yep. Befriend Ben, no Rudolph again. Bend over, Ben. Thank you. Want to sing it, Rox? Wait, your mic's not on. Oh, you blew it.
No, I just ruined it. Hush, hush, keep it down now. Voices carry.
Oh, that's where the hum's coming from.
Is it?
No.
I'll go on
Turn
mute
your
again.
mic down a little bit. I think it's a little hotter today than it has been for whatever reason. But you're giving us all a hummer.
Isn't that sweet? He says you're hot.
Whoa, it's too hot. Too hot.
Too hot.
All right. So, yeah, bring it down a little bit more because what we're hearing is ambient noise. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know why, unless you've been in there singing again, singing Titanium.
I have been singing. I've been singing, but I haven't adjusted the mic. So that's interesting.
It is, and, what can I tell you? It's, ooh, that's much better when your mic's not on. I'm kidding.
You have to go to sleep sometime. I just want you to know these things. So.
Kevin Stefanski was asked the question because he had his little non-in-person press conference on if the Browns need to add depth at guard. And here's Stefanski's quote. As it pertains to the guard question, I think that is what Andrew Berry, and his staff are working on every day. I think they walk in the building and say, oh, shit, man, it's going to hell again. No, look at the roster. How do we improve it? I know with the opt-outs at that position, it is certainly something we have to continue to look at. As it pertains to practice reps, you have to get your starters ready. You also have to get your backups ready in this year. We have to be very mindful of how we divvy up these reps. I have sat down with the coaches. We have a plan for that, but I don't think it is a season where you just say, hey, I'm getting my starters ready. That may not be the smartest thing to do in the world. So that's what he had to say about it. And it's really not an answer at all, but you cannot just play people in who are, not athletic people and plug them into that scheme. It's impossible. So there were other things that, a lot of the players allegedly came into camp in very, very good physical condition. What Stefanski says, it's obvious to me the guys worked very hard in the offseason. I think watching the walkthroughs and watching the coaches interact with the players, there's a good understanding of what we want to do. But he said to steal a line from Gary Kubiak, I don't want the job. No, not that line. To steal a line from Gary Kubiak, the teaching is ahead of the doing right now. So, what we're seeing, and I want to make a comparison. I very rarely would I ever make a comparison between baseball and football. But, what you're seeing on the field in baseball is the average major league team. The average of all the teams playing, batting average 229. The Indians came into their 13-run fuckfest last night, which they finally got an orgy of runs. I'm just doing this for the Hasbro people. They seem to enjoy this kind of talk. But the Indians were hitting 181 as a team through the first 12 games of the year. The league averaging only 229. The players were clearly not ready without having that preseason, and they just weren't up to game speed. The same thing is true of football. These guys come in, and the defenses are going to be more dominant than the offense, especially in a team like the Browns, who are learning a whole new system, and it's going to be a difficult situation. I'm concerned only because trying to get ahead of the curve is hard enough. Teams like the Steelers have veterans, teams that have guys who have been playing within a system for a couple of years or many more than that. They come in with knowledge of the system. The Browns are coming in with just whatever they received in the mail, basically, as their playbook, and they're walking through the plays right now. I don't really know. So,
The lack of mini camps is going to be a big thing, particularly for teams with new coaches like the Browns. That whole situation that you described there, you lose so much by not having that time on the field.
yeah, we're missing John Panette. He was a morbidly obese comedian who made fun of the fact that he lived at Chinese buffets. And he did
You've been
pass away.
here 4 hours, fat boy. You go home now.
That's John Panette. God bless John Panette. He was a funny guy.
Yeah, he would have needed 8 power lifters to handle his casket.
But, so for Browns fans, the coach is doing everything he can. I think he's very organized, and I think he's going to be very good. But I think it's just, we always have a reason, because we keep jumping to new systems, why we're not good in the first 4 weeks of the season. And you get buried by the time that happens. You just get buried. There's evidence that this is going to be the same thing all over again. The timing of blocks and how plays run. It would be amazing to me, literally amazing, if the football season. First of all, it'd be amazing if they play the season. Second of all, with all the opt-outs and all, if the Browns in the first 4 games of the year won 2 games out of 4, I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked, because it's just too much to ask. And I don't care how organized you are, the players have to be able to learn, and nobody's done this. Nobody's run this system. And it would be one thing, maybe if you had worked, with the Browns years ago, all the way back when we were running a zone scheme with Kyle Shanahan. But no, that was so long ago. Nobody's done this. So we have to relearn. Every player has to relearn this. And it's going to be real difficult. And Baker Mayfield really is going to be judged on the basis of this, because last year was just so spotty. And, it's just, and now, it's already the 7th of August. We would be talking preseason games. That's what we would normally be doing. I'd be on here saying, boy, let's see how our, starters looked, and let's see how our depth looked. Anybody, stand out in all of this? Any guys who look like they were good special teams guys, return guys, or whatever. But, there's nothing,
There's all day hockey today. That's been good.
Have you been watching Tiger Woods at the Open? At the PGA?
No,
PGA?
I'm not a golf guy, so I have to admit I'll periodically watch the majors when we get to Sundays, but I'm much more into. I've been surprised at how well the bubble sports, NHL, NBA, WNBA, MLS, have actually been able to kind of keep things down. The COVID situations. I don't know how these sports where they're going to try to, put a football team on the field, how that's going to work, because it's just too many moving parts. I mean, just like you were talking about trying to get an offense together when you haven't run it, or the fact that you have 11 people on the field that have to be able to do it, plus the people that come in and sub, it's just too many moving parts. Whereas, basketball with 5 people or hockey with 6 on the ice, it's not quite as, complicated of a thing. I mean, there's a lot to them, but it's one of those kind of things where trying to get 11 people on the same page, and you're not going to have hardly any preseason and any training camp and everything else. It's just, wow.
Tiger just hit a bogey, so he's 1 under, 1 over for the day. And he had put up a good score yesterday at 2 under, and I thought maybe if there was a chance he would make a move today. But if he can stay within shouting distance, the problem is right now he's 7 strokes behind. And, just don't say that to Dan Gilbert. He will not be happy with you. Yeah, but you're right, Hammer. It's hard enough to deal with injuries. I'm amazed actually watching Major League Baseball. We saw Ohtani go down as a pitcher, and he's back to, he hit a home run the other night as a designated hitter, and he's not going to be a two-way player perhaps ever again. But I'm amazed that like Cookie Carrasco has looked as good as he's looked. I'm amazed that the Indians starting pitching has thrown as many pitches and gone as deep into games as they have. Because when you don't have that essential warm-up time, right now, if you're just going really at slow walking speed to learn, the scheme and the system, and by the time you get to the regular season, you're not going to be playing full speed. I guarantee you're going to be trying to play against experienced NFL teams playing at 75%. The old line and any, and I know Brian, you've heard this, and Hammer, you've seen it, if you have to think about what you're going to do before you do it, it's too late. I mean, and it has to be literally organic, and it has to, flow forth without that. Am I supposed to do this or am I supposed to do that? And meanwhile, somebody runs right by you. We're not going to have that advantage. So it's going to be, not going to be an easy thing. But it never is in Cleveland. The Cardinals and the Cubs have postponed because another positive on the Cardinals. The rumor is that the Cardinals went out to a casino. And so it goes, and so it goes, and so it goes. I mean, how in the world, and why should anyone care?
Well, isn't that the same thing that happened with the Marlins? They all went out to the same fucking place and
That's right. I mean,
collected the same bullshit.
But you know what's amazing? The Cardinals, of all teams, which, they haven't played since July 29th. They've only played 5 games this year. I mean, that's insane. The team that's played the most has played 14. They're 9 games behind. Compared to where they're supposed to be, they're 10 games behind their own schedule with this postponement. It's crazy. I mean, how are they going to make that up?
Honestly, they should be forced to forfeit the games and the rest of the season and just fucking shut that team down.
And I'll tell you another thing, this notion that,
And they could still have a better record than the fucking Reds.
Extra inning, double headers are now only 7-inning games. So you can imagine.
What?
Yes. I mean,
they're going by Little League rules?
That's right. And a mercy rule, for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't, so you're going to throw double headers.
The mercy is the other team doesn't walk on the field.
And Rick is right with me. I mean, this is the only way to pull the St. Louis Cardinals out is a bunch of double headers that nobody will see anyway, but they're only going to be 7-inning games. So, I mean, that theoretically, I don't know how that would work out. I mean, how would your starting pitching? I mean, you would have to be pitching by
I can just hear Ernie Banks going, well, if it's only 7 innings, let's play 3 then.
Let's play 3. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. But another cancellation of a game. And now the Big Sky Conference, and I know that's not a big one in the NCAA, they're moving their football schedule to the spring because people in Montana say it's too fucking cold to play in the winter. No, it's because of the coronavirus. It will.
Constantine.
But the Big
you
Sky
got good
Conference,
taste, Dams.
the Big Sky Conference will, by moving to the spring, you can forget the 2020 FCS playoffs now. And they're hoping that the NCAA is going to shift the FCS title game to the spring. Good luck. Good luck. I mean, everybody's going their own which way, and it's real.
Well, yeah, all Division III sports have postponed everything in the fall. All Division II sports have postponed their championships to the fall. There are teams that are playing sports, but not necessarily going to have a championship. So depending on whatever fall sport it would be, there may be some stuff. My particular college schedule, as far as an official, has been just destroyed. I have about 5 dates in October, and that's it. Everything else I have is high school, which is like the fact that they even are considering playing high school is just mind-boggling to me at this point. But it's just, you were talking one thing about pitching and the Indians pitching.
Yeah.
First in baseball, 2.05 ERA. Indians pitching.
Yeah.
Indians batting next to last in baseball at 192.
A blind man could see it going into the season, and you don't have to be Nostradamus to predict. The Indians just simply didn't have any hitting, and the thing is that by rights they should be in last place, predicated on their production. But the pitching has bailed them out. But that isn't going to last forever. And we'll talk a little bit about yesterday's game, which was partly that they got hits, and partly because the other team had a walk orgy. Again, the Hasbro people want to hear that every so often. They couldn't throw the ball over the plate. I think there were like 3 or 4 walks delivered that inning that led to that massive outburst by the Indians. I wanted to share something with, and this is really, what's the worst decision you can think of as far as movies are concerned? We'll start with Rox. What movie does you think should least have had a sequel?
Should at least have had a sequel that actually
That's
did
right.
have one. The first thing that comes to my mind is Friday the 13th, because the main killer from the first movie was killed at the end of that movie. But then, Jason did pop out at the end of that movie and continued his murder spree through several more movies. So, but that's the only thing I could think of. I was trying to think of another one where the main character died at the end, but they brought back a sequel anyway.
Yeah, and I just told Rox the other day, the worst sequel ever made. If you remember Smokey and the Bandit, there was Smokey and the Bandit 2, but nobody remembers the third one. The third one was Smokey is the Bandit, and it was like the worst thing ever. Hammer Time, what movie did not deserve a sequel?
Well, the first movie was awesome, but probably the worst sequel I've ever seen was Speed 2. That was bad. That was bad.
There you go.
The first movie was awesome. It was a fantastic movie. It certainly deserved a sequel, but they destroyed the sequel.
It's like Grease 2. It's like, no, Grease was the musical. I don't know what Grease 2 was, And Brian, what movie least deserved a sequel?
Oh, probably The Naked Gun.
All right.
Oh,
Well, here we go.
Because
Worst-
they just absolutely destroyed any semblance of funny with the sequels.
Well, here we go. Here's the worst decision I've seen yet. Ready?
Grr.
Anticipation. Anticipation. It's making me wait.
It's making me wait.
Mark, you're frozen.
I have to agree with you that if this is the sequel, it really sucks.
It really does.
I mean, because I'm thinking of like the first 2 Alien movies were really good, and then everything else has been crap. But
Well,
you can't say.
There's been some movies that were sequels that were actually the thing that kind of got things off the map. Mad Max was one of them. Where
Beyond the Thunderdome. Yeah,
the second and third movie. The second movie itself was actually the big movie.
Road Warriors was the second movie.
Or the Road Warrior. So and that was something that the Road Warrior was a much bigger movie. The same thing with Rambo, actually. First Blood. There was, it was the second movie in the series. It was the thing that kind of made it bigger. So, there's been some times when you didn't expect a sequel to happen, and it did. But there are too many movies out there that get sequels anymore.
No.
Personally, for me, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the sequel, Squeakquel, that was a tough one.
I haven't seen any of those. But one thing I can think of is The Godfather. That definitely deserved a sequel. But that third part is just an abomination. That's just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, the third
one sequel was enough.
and the first two were some of the better movies of all time.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah,
So-
the female Ghostbusters. I hope that dies a very painful death on the vine
Well,
and never
did you
gets
see-
a sequel.
Did you see that?
Yeah, well, before everything went to hell in a handbasket, they are actually doing a new Ghostbusters that's going to
But
include,
it's Spengler's family.
right. It's still going to include Dan Aykroyd. It's going to include some of the original
Danny
people,
Potts.
right? But it is it is a moving on type of thing. So at least they're paying homage to the original part of the show. That's the one part of it that's
Yeah, it just sucks that Harold Ramis died because he was the one that wrote a lot of the first two movies. So
I think a very underrated person for what he was. Very dry,
yeah,
just a great sense of humor.
you got to go back and watch him on SCTV. He was fucking hilarious.
Actually, that's exactly where it's going, Brian. I said that crew of people from SCTV, just an incredible group of talented people, and a lot of them stuck around and stuff. Of course, Rick
Eugene
Moranis.
Levy.
Well, yeah, Eugene Levy. I don't know if you've seen his Schitt's Creek series with his son in it, and Maureen O'Hara's in it. Absolutely hilarious. It's on Netflix. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's just absolutely just funny as heck. He was in all the American Pie movies as well as the dad.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And the other guy had a series. I wish I could remember the name of that network. But anyway, he had a series that was kind of like, oh shit, Rod Serling's second series, Night
Gallery.
Night Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like Night Gallery,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
and it had all these crazy fucking movie stars. Like the one that I remember is Jose Ferrer. He ends up getting these giant rabbit legs. Something happens to his legs, like they get crushed or something, and so he has to sew on these giant rabbit legs, and he's having to hop around this mansion on giant rabbit legs.
Was there a guy like with a really big hat trying to walk around saying, "I'm going to get you, wabbit"? Something.
Be very, very quiet.
Very quiet. We're hunting.
No,
We're
it's the other
hunting
guy.
rabbit. Oh.
He was afraid. Actually, I think he was afraid that some magician was going to yank him out of a hat.
Well, look,
Welcome
he's
back.
the host.
Your dreams were
The
your
host is
ticket
returning.
out.
Fucking Chrome just completely froze up. Sorry.
I think it was actually it was a conspiracy by Brian to get you out of the room for a couple minutes.
So you never found out what the movie was?
No.
No, not your call. No.
No, it was. Well, I'm going to try it again, damn it, because I'm a stubborn guy, and I'm going to share it this time. And if it does the same thing, fuck
So
me.
Rocks have two topics ready just in case when this goes south. Okay.
All right.
I got one. Brian's got one. You get two. So
All right, we're gonna share this. Damn it!
Not my fault, Mr. Vu.
No,
Poor
this
Rick.
is. I know.
He gets blamed for everything. It's all Rick's fault.
there.
Oh no!
Now, this is so wrong on
Not
somebody.
needed. Not needed.
Johnny Castle is fucking dead, okay? I mean, he didn't have the time of his life. He's fucking dead, all right?
But wasn't there already a Dirty Dancing 2 Electric Boogaloo or something?
No, it was Havana Nights.
Okay.
No. It was Dirty
Dirty
Dancing.
Dancing on Ice.
All those places are closed in the Borscht Belt, though. They're all gone, man. It's like, what are they going? Are they going to have this like in Poughkeepsie or something? What are they going to do?
I mean, who cares if baby grew up? I mean, she's had plastic surgery, she's unrecognizable, and she's too old to dance. So what the fuck is going to be Dirty Dancing? It's going to be her daughter coming of age, and I don't want that. It's going to be grosser than the Hasbro toy. Make it stop. God, make it stop. The vaginal button. Please make it stop. And who looks there for a doll? I mean, what the hell? They could have put that button on the back of the head. They could have put it anywhere. Who puts it?
Just on the back of the voice box. They could have had two buttons.
Button A and button B, you know?
One on the front and one on the back.
Never buy
God.
anything ever again. Ever again. From Hasbro.
Like I said, just imagine what they would do to a G.I. Joe today.
I
That Kung
would
Fu
think
grip
what
would
you
have
would do to a G.I. Joe today. My
That Kung
God.
Fu grip would have a whole new connotation.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to. You weren't supposed to do that with the GI Joe. Just letting you know, okay?
I'll finish up
Scarlet
the show.
is now throwing dildos at Cobra.
This is the other thing that I don't get. I don't know if you saw this, but the A's bench coach Ryan Christensen was giving a Nazi salute on the field.
No,
Did you see this?
no, that's so wrong. No.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
Kind
I
of
mean,
appropriate for Gavin Newsom, though.
I wonder
Was
if I
he?
can
He
get a-
wasn't really telling him to back up, and they just caught him at the end going like this, you know?
No, and
No?
because it was coming off the field, there was nothing going on in the field. I'm going to see if I can put this in, and I want to see if there's a picture of it. Well, we have a video of it. If the share thing,
Come on, lucky number 7.
yeah. Let's see if this thing even. Let's see. This.
You know, when
This
you
ha-
Google search, you're only 2 clicks away from, right?
Oh my God! All right, so I'm laughing because this thing is bad. This is about as bad as it gets, folks. Because I don't know how you, just like Hasbro, can't really excuse the situation. I'm going to go back in to share a screen. You're going to see the video, I hope, if it works. This is frightening. And we're going to.
Oh boy, now we're going to get the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
We ready? You're getting this now.
We're getting it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
we
watch
gotta-
watch, and this is like the end of the game.
9 minutes. Final score: the Athletics 6 and the Texas Rangers 4. Time now for A's Post Game Live. It's brought to you by Toyota. 9 minutes. Final score: the Athletics 6.
Watch it again.
And the Texas Rangers.
What is he doing?
Time now for A's Post Game Live.
Oh.
It's brought to you by
That's the
Toyota.
new handshake.
9
No,
minutes.
but
Final
look,
score: the
they're
Athletics.
telling him you got to bump
6
elbows,
and
but
the
he's
Texas
giving a C
Rangers
Kyle, and he's
4.
telling him to stop
Time
it,
now for
and he
A's
turns
Post
to
Game
the crowd
Live.
and
It's brought
does
to you
it
by
again.
Toyota.
Oh, Christensen. Okay.
Final score: the Athletics 6.
Unbelievable. I mean, things. How do you explain
Maybe he
this
was
kind of shit? You know,
Maybe he was waving hi to one of the little flat fans in the stands. He saw somebody he knew. No, okay, never mind.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Like I said, I think he was just doing it to annoy Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, for all their bullshit. You know, you can't touch anything or do anything. You gotta wear a mask. All the crazy bullshit that they have to go through.
now listen to this. Susan Slusser, who is, I guess, a media person in the greater Oakland area, he says, I just spoke to Ryan Christensen, and he said he knew instantly what it was about when David Forst called him, because when he had reached out to do the karate chop with Hendricks, the player, Hendricks said, no straight arm. And Christensen took a second to realize what he meant. So why did he do it a second time? More from Ryan Christensen, who said after Hendricks told him, no straight arm, you have to bend your arm, he turned and said, oh, I see what you mean. It's like Heil Hitler. Christensen says, I apologize for everything.
It's never going to be enough. Come on.
No, well, I mean, that's not even a good
outrage
excuse, though.
The outrage culture is going to fucking eat that guy alive. He's never going to work in baseball again.
It's just kind of hard to fathom. It's just hard.
Cut him a severance check and send him on his way.
Well, yeah. Well, I think he's about done. I mean, it's just about over. So I promised I would say something about the Indians. Okay, there I did. They're playing the White Sox tonight. Okay, it's going to be Savali pitching against Dylan Cease, and Dylan Cease is a guy with a big arm. We saw him first go around. Zach Plesac is going to be pitching the next game against an undetermined pitcher, the unknown pitcher, and then Bieber's back against Lucas Giolito on Sunday. So tonight's game ought to be.
So they have a chance to win one.
Yeah, basically, yesterday's game was, it was an interesting one-inning thing, and the Indians did what they were supposed to do, and they took advantage of mistakes, just crazy mistakes by the Reds, and pitching staffs that walked in 2 runs. I mean, it was, it's great to see Jose Ramirez hitting the ball like he is, making solid contact and being productive. He hit his 3rd home run of the season. The person getting the play was Delino DeShields Jr. just because he was hitting the ball to the opposite field, because if he tried to pull it, it would be popped up to the 3rd baseman every time. Lindor is only hitting 194 this year. If he'd get going, that would kind of help, but the bottom part of the lineup, it still just doesn't matter. They just don't have anybody. Ramirez hit 2 home runs in the game, and he got both of them, all of them, so he hit them well. He's, guy tried to throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, down the middle of the plate to Jose Ramirez, and it left the park really quickly. And then 3 bases loaded walks. I was wrong. It wasn't 2. It was 3 by one pitcher, Jose De Leon. Can you believe that? I mean, Carlos Santana, I believe, can walk, but Bo Taylor and Delino Shields walking? Nah, I don't think so. Santana walked 4 times in the game. I mean, this is no kind of pitching at all for the Cincinnati Reds.
DeShields must have gotten the message, if you take a swing, we're going to cut off your legs and mail them back to Cuba.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that about the Reds, was that it was said that Marge Schott rustled in her grave when she saw the Ryan Christensen video. So I don't know what that was all about. So the Indians had a good go of it.
It's a permanent, you'll find her marker. It's just a permanent upside down burning cross.
So much for the Indians. I mean, it's not real fun to watch. I mean, it's great to see good pitching from the Indians, but the players just don't make enough contact at the plate. Their contact rate, I mean, the amount they're striking out is just crazy high. So, The other big thing that happened, a real crushing blow to the Philadelphia 76ers again. Ben Simmons has dislocated his kneecap. Like they needed this, like they needed a hole in the head. Team won the game, but lost the season. People don't come back. I mean, it was a dislocated kneecap for sure. It popped back into place, but nobody is feeling real.
Like Patrick Mahomes.
Nobody really wants that kind of injury in basketball, believe me. And and it's not that Russell Simmons is that. Listen to me, Ben Simmons. Russell Simmons is funny. Ben Simmons is not funny and still can't shoot a three. I'm just not. The 76ers haven't had, through all of this process, just can't get over the hump. And the fact is, he's not a great offensive player, but he is a mismatch offensively and defensively. He's long and he moves his feet well, at least when he has both knees under him.
Well, and he leads the team in assists, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he helps the ball move around to get everybody get more and better shots. The Basketball Reference playoff probabilities report shows that the 76ers would be facing the Celtics. I would not think, not having Simmons out there when you have to stop players like Kemba Walker or Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward even, who's back to playing better basketball since his injuries, something that the 76ers really can't afford. But just bad news for that organization. They've had so much of it for such a long time. So that's that. I want to apologize about this whole thing freezing up on me. I don't usually have that happen, but that wasn't my connection. That was Chrome. And when the browser does that, you have a choice. And I decided finally I was just going to kill it. And fortunately, it gave me an option to restore all of my pages, so I at least did not lose my stories. But an unexplained problem with the browser. Everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in to this edition of Moohead Radio, and we'll be back again on Monday. We have another weekend that we get to do whatever we want to do. I'll probably watch a little bit of the Indians game, and then I'll probably walk away once they're behind 5. Well, the thing is, once they're down 2-0, it's they never win when they don't score first. But when they score first, they seem to do a lot better. So I'd like to watch the early innings to see if they get ahead. Then they have a chance to win the game.
And the White Sox are the team that scored 10 runs on Minnesota, by the way.
And rest in peace, Dick Goddard.
Yep.
Well, okay. Well, let me. And today's forecast, I'll be looking at woolly bears under the ground, and I'll be reporting to you. And it's going to be very, very hot outside, and there's going to be decomposition happening in the very near future. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with Dick Goddard. I don't mean literally. He was 89 when he passed away. But I mean, as a kid, he was the meteorologist. He was the guy you'd curse when he got it wrong. He was around. I think he was doing TV weathercasting until he was 80. I mean, this guy was like
stuck around long. Dick Goddard and Webster. I mean, those guys were the cornerstones of Cleveland weather guys.
Don Webster. It's funny, when I started seeing Don Webster doing hearing aid commercials, like, it's like God, we've all gotten old real quick, Dick Goddard, from everybody I spoke to, wonderful man, and well liked, well cherished in the Cleveland market. Yeah, I'm sorry to see that. But a couple of months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, his family had put out for prayer calls because they said that he was not going to make it, and he managed to last another month and a half. But it's a great loss for the Cleveland media. And at 89 years of age, I should know at this point, this weekend, my father will be celebrating his 90th birthday. How's that for amazing? So yeah, give it up. Yeah, you know. Although he still can't kick my ass one-on-one on a basketball court, you know? It's just,
He's letting you win, Mark.
oh yeah. Thanks, Jim. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back again on Monday for the next installment of Moohead Radio. Until next time, hasta la vista, Pasture Heads.